So, back again, after discussing what is meant by the scope of negation, and we have learned that it is what? It starts from the negative verb to the end of the sentence. It may or may not be, if I have an adverbial, it may or may not be within the scope of negation, and more than one case for how to signal the scope of negation. Yeah. So what is meant by the focus of negation? Listen, we need to identify not only the scope, but the focus of negation. What is a focus? A special or a contrastive nuclear stress falling on a particular part of the clause indicates that the contrast of meaning implicit in the negation is located at that spot. And also that may, by implication, the rest of the clause can be understood in a positive sense. So this is what does it mean by the scope, the focus of negation. Let us take these sentences or these examples. Listen. Look at this one. Harry did not attack the Labour government. Okay, falling, you see, falling. هذه it is stress, it is focus, it is emphasized, it has what can I call intonation, falling here, falling tone. Harry, this is the focus of negation. Oui, I have some. Harry did not attack means someone other than Harry attacked the Labour government, but it was not Harry. Why? Because the focus of negation is what? On Harry, that he did not do so. Listen this one. Harry did not attack. Here the focus on this word, attack, on this word. So maybe Harry did something to the Labour government, but he did not attack. Maybe destroy it, maybe a crash, maybe do something else, but not the action of attacking. Again, Harry did not attack the Labour government. Labour, here the scope of negation, in which I have this intonation, okay, or the focus of negation. Harry or he attacked some governments, but actually, definitely, it was not the Labour one. Why? Because it is the focus of negation. So keep in mind, so I have the focus included in the sentence. There is some sort of intonation, which is very important in deciding or in signaling the focus of negation. I have this falling tone. So keep in mind, I can make use of the focus to decide the scope. Scope and focus are interrelated, such that the scope please, must include the focus. The scope must include the focus. From this, it follows that one way of signaling the extent of the scope is by the position of the focus. So actually they are interrelated, they are closely related. Indeed, since the scope of the negation is often not with otherwise signaled, just a minute please. Yeah. Since the scope of the negation is not otherwise clearly signaled, we can indicate it by where we place the information focus. I mean by the information focus the following. Okay, one example of this one, typically the scope of negation extended to include a subordinated clause of reason with a contrastive rise to emphasize this. Let us see. What does this mean? Look at these examples here. وياي ماما. I didn't leave home. When you stop starting from what? From the particle from not to this one. تشوفون الفocus is within the scope here. The focus is within the scope. So the subordinated clause here is positive. Is positive. Is not within the scope of negation. Here, because I was afraid of my father, okay, I didn't leave home. Because I was afraid of my father, I didn't leave home. I didn't leave home because I was afraid of my father. هذه falling rising وياي. هذه falling rise tone اللي دا نحكي عليها إنه they are interrelated. إنه they يصير عندي هنا. Here I have the static point of the scope of negation to this negative particle to the end of the subordinated clause. That's why here I have what? I have this tone اللي هو fall rise. لكن تشوفون هنا I have only fall. So here this one should be what? Negative within the scope of negation. Means I left home, but it was not because I was afraid of my father. يعني تشوفون because it was not because I was afraid of my father. هنا ده ننفي subordinated clause. ده ننفيها. It will be within the scope of negation. Yeah. Intonation may be crucial also in marking the extension of the scope backwards to include the subject. An occasional phenomena found in subject contain one of the universal items, all or every. All cats don't like water. When you scope now, you see from the particle, negative particle to the end. When you focus here, water, I can say all cats dislike water. All cats don't like water. This is what's something different. when حيصير الفوكس on all وياي هذا fall tone will be what? Here the focus. Now the focus start when على water. That's why I dislike water. But here the focus of negation is on the universal item all. That's why means not all cats like water. Yes.